Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to the channel. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I do want to welcome my new subscribers to the Jameson family. If you don't know who I am or haven't watched my channel, my name is Topanga Jameson, and I post content a lot. But I do want to get on here and tell y'all a story time while I get ready for my day and while I'm getting ready to have coffee. Now, I have lived in this house almost 8 years, 8 years, and we got the house in 2015, and early on in getting the house, we had things that we could not explain, like we would hear I was the first one to hear weird noises. And let me give you a little backstory. I am a college student who is becoming a doctor. I'm going to school for psychology and all that good jazz. So one day I decided, I had not seen the house before my mom bought it. She wanted a house for me that was handicap accessible. For those of you who just turned into my channel or subscribed or watching my video and don't know much about me, I have scoliosis, so it was imperative that I had a shower instead of a tub, but we do have a tub in the guest bathroom. And sometimes if I need to soak, I'll get into it. But that's on rare occasions. So, back to the story. So, the first night I stayed here, all I had was an air mattress, my computer, and we didn't even have a TV up, so I was watching movies on my computer. And at the time, I had a Netflix account. This was back in 2015, so that will give you a little bit of a timeline. And we're in 2024 right now. Sorry, not a morning person. We're in 2024 right now. So when I first moved in, I got the feeling that I was being watched, but I thought, hey, it's a new house. That feeling will go away. I had to go to the bathroom abruptly, so when we went to do the walkthrough, I used the restroom and I decided to stay there because we didn't have the security system up, and I just had like this bad feeling that something was gonna happen. So I already had a bag with me of clothes, like a couple days worth of clothes, and Mom goes, "Would you like to see which room would be yours?" Because my original plan was to move out and not live in this house. But she said, "This is my house, so this is the house I'll inherit. This is the house I'll live in forever. So, unless I get married and move somewhere, this will be my home." But that's a conversation for another day. So the first night I stayed, back to the first night, I don't go to bed until 2 a.m. And because my mom had come over and she was pulling out carpet because they had a cat, but they had carpet, they had hardwood flooring in like the dining room, kitchen area, bathrooms. They had tile in my bathroom that was very rough, and it was like a texture, so if you got on your hands and knees to scrub, and when we first moved in, this bathroom had a step to get into the shower, which I can do that. I'm a pro. I've dealt with a 1959 house, and you know how those houses are set up. Love that house, though, because the era it was in. But I ended up liking the shower, and so that night I take a shower and I get ready, but I don't have a towel. So I ended up having like this little wrap thing that you wrap yourself in, and I would dry myself off. At this time, we did not have our washer and dryer here, and I want to tell you a little backstory. When we moved into this house, it was a blizzard had happened. We moved in on December 23rd of 2015. So that will give you a timeline that it was cold, it was snowy, I was in sweatpants and a sweatshirt, and so I get dressed abruptly, but I realize, I'm like, okay, the water's cold, but it doesn't get warm no matter what we do. And one day my mom decides to take a shower over here. And she goes, so you've been telling me you've been taking a shower this whole time you've been staying here, and it's been cold, and you didn't think to tell anyone? And I said, well, I just thought it was normal. Come to find out, they didn't have the water heater on. So I was taking some cold showers. I'm not a cold shower fan. I'll admit, I like my shower steamy. So I go in and she turns on the water heater, and that night, like, back to my story, because this is all going to be relevant in a moment, I promise. So back to my story, she decides that she is going to pull up the carpet because that following day they're coming to lay new flooring because she didn't like the look of the flooring, neither did I. And this is going to be my forever home. And we just didn't like the way it looked. I need to clean my ears out. I need to candle them. I gotta get some candles from natural grocers. So at this time, I was a vegetarian. I'm going back to that way because I feel like I have more energy to do stuff, and I feel less tired, even though it's the weather. So I decide that I am going to stay the night after she pulls up the tile or carpet in both bedrooms. I decide to stay the night. So it was me, my dog, and at the time her name was Camouflage. She died of breast cancer. And we decided that we were going to stay the night. My dog is a very sweet dog. She never really barked in the house, but we were sleeping on an air mattress, and something startled her, and she started like somebody was there, somebody was gonna attack. She was letting them know she was there. So I start hearing like footsteps in the attic, and I start like hearing weird things, and I'm like, okay, this is just a new house. I'm gonna go back to bed. But before I go back to bed, I check through the whole house, and at this time, I end up calling 911 because I want to give a little backstory, so this is more so everybody will know. When we moved in, the owners never gave us the passcode to the garage. We had to get that through our realtor, and the owners were supposed to give it to us, but they never did. What I do know about this house, it used to be a duplex, and there were several like, there was a efficiency apartment in my closet. It was like a multiple apartment kind of place, and it was like a duplex. There was a kitchen in my bathroom. There was everything. Or a kitchen in my closet. It was an efficiency apartment. Well, that will be relevant to the story in a little while, and this story may have to be several parts. And I was going to do it at Halloween, but okay, so back to my story. So I call the police, and they abruptly get here within seconds. And 7 of them come to my rescue, and 7 guys go up in my attic. I'm like, oh God, my attic. And these guys aren't small, they hefty dudes. So if somebody's in there, I feel safe because these hefty dudes are gonna be a shock and awe on somebody, okay? So, I call my mom and I say, hey Mom, are you still here? Because I hear weird noises. And she's like, no, I'm not here, call the police. So I'm explaining everything to her. I call the police. She ends up coming, the police got there. She ends up getting there 5 minutes later. Now, keep in mind, this is 4 in the morning when I call her. She has to be up at 6:30 and out the door at 7 for her job. So so they look through the house and they determine that it is squirrels, like squirrel. And me and my mom both are like, okay, maybe it is a squirrel, maybe. So the next day I go to work. And I'm tired and I'm taking care of kids. And the little boy was autistic and he hears, Kayla. And I'm like, okay, that's a weird name because that ain't even my name. And it says it again. So I'm just thinking the little girl is playing with her doll and she had a baby doll. And I was like, okay, its name's Kayla, okay. And it sounded like a faint, delicate